Daith da Ewinakan. Welcome to podcast number 74. I think last Friday illustrated the variety of services we have, but at the same place. We was at Glyn Valley, 8:30 in the morning, which was the service that the family had chosen where no one attends. So we were just there, just ourselves. And then right to the other extreme, late afternoon, we were there again for a funeral. It was approximately 400 people there. It may be a bit under, maybe a bit more, maybe just over 400. So it just shows the variety. You're at the same place, but it's completely different. And then Saturday, we had the funeral of the wife of an old mate of mine. Anita passed away, wife of JT. And I know I've spoke about JT before on the podcast, but the story that came to my mind, he used to be our gravedigger years ago. And he had a big digger, whereas these days they've got kind of mini diggers or they dig by hand. And JT had a bigger digger. So if somebody reserved a grave at Eglosale, he would have to go and dig it and backfill it so that in years to come, he would then have to dig it by hand. And JT always used to tell this story, and I think it's a lovely story. He actually bought and reserved his own grave. And of course, then he had to dig it. So he dug his grave, and then he climbed down to the bottom, and he said, I lay down just to make sure it was comfortable. And he's the only person that I know that have dug his own grave, lay down in it, backfilled it, and then obviously, sadly, used it years later. As far as my marathon training goes, I must thank everyone. I've gone over £500 now for donations for Alzheimer's Society, which is fantastic. I did another few good runs. I had, I think I ran 11 miles on Sunday and 2 other runs since. I was meant to run last night, but I was just getting ready and we had a call. So I missed my training run last night. So I thought, must do it tonight. Well, then this morning, I was out with the dogs and I went to jump over a ditch and I jarred me blimmin' ankle again. Slightly different to how I did it before, but I was in agony. So I was intending to go out tonight because I didn't go last night and my ankle's too sore. So I can't go out tonight. Maybe tomorrow, I don't know. 'Tis a beggar, really. It mucks you up mentally because you got your training plan, and I never like to miss an evening when I should be running. But yeah, twin very good, really. But I think it does pale into insignificance when worldwide you may have seen this week that the marathon runner Calvin Kipton sadly passed away in a car crash. And I can remember him at the London Marathon last year. Now, I could say that I raced against him, but it wasn't quite like that. I was there in the field waiting for our group to be called to start because, as you might know, it starts in waves. And it was raining, it was cold, but you was looking up at the start of the elite runners. And just to see them go off and to see like Kelvin go off, the pace they was going at, fantastic. You know, what did he do? A marathon, 2 hours, 35 seconds, something like that. Unbelievable. So it was very sad news that he did pass away in the car crash this week. So now we'll go over to my interview for the week. And that's with the lovely Janet Chadband out Port Isaac. I popped out there this week and we had a lovely afternoon chatting away. So this is the first part of the interview. I've known Janet, well, as long as I can remember. I think we touch on it in next week's interview because when I first knew her, she was the receptionist at Port Isaac Doctor's Surgery out there in Port Isaac because we was with the practice, but we was living in Wadebridge and, of course, we'd have to go out there. And, yeah, I can always remember Mother having long chats with Janet, but I'll go over now. 'Tis a lovely chat and I'll speak to her directly when I wrote things off. So here it is. Get on, Janet. How be knacking?
I'm all right, Dave. Thank you very much.
Proper job. Thank you for meeting me today.
You're very welcome. Nice to have a chance to talk over old times.
Exactly. Oh, brilliant. So you was born up in England, is that right?
I was in Staines in Middlesex.
Because Father's family, they was from down here.
Oh yeah, Port Isaac man.
Port Isaac through and through.
Yeah, I was born in Staines, and so were my two brothers.
Yeah, I see.
And when the youngest one was 9 months old, we moved down here.
So had he gone up there for work then, or? Yeah, I see.
He went up with two Port Isaac men
Yeah,
when he was 19 years old.
right.
I think he worked, when he did work, but whether he was still an apprentice, I can't remember. The council houses across here, these six.
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah.
Worked on those when they were being built.
Oh,
That's what he said.
Yeah.
With Tommy Bradshaw and Jack Sweet, both Port Isaac boys.
Yeah.
My father was 19, and things progressed up there until he met and married my mother,
Right.
and then we stayed up there. He didn't join up in the forces, but he was connected to the government for airfield repairs and
Yeah, I get
being
it.
in the building trade.
Yeah, yeah.
And we dotted around the country a bit. We were never officially evacuated because we were far enough out from London to not be in the thick of the bombing.
Yeah,
Where he could find us lodgings, then we moved there until he moved on,
yeah.
and then he'd look for somewhere else. The best place we got lodgings was in a vicarage on the borders of Herefordshire and Wales.
All right. Yeah.
Absolute paradise.
Yeah.
No planes, no bombs,
No.
no air raid sirens. We weren't very old, obviously. I was born in 1937. Robert, my brother, was born in 1938.
Yeah.
And then my young brother was born in 1947. Yeah, we went to the vicarage and stayed there, hired rooms. But then later on, we went back there and lived as family because we all got friendly and stayed friendly. I still keep in touch with their daughter now. Absolute paradise it was. The way memory works, it never rained. It
No.
was always lovely weather, and they had fruit trees and totally different way of life to what I'd been used to up to then, and it was lovely.
So then the move back down to Cornwall?
That was prompted by the heavy snowfall of 1947,
All right. Yeah.
and living in the Thames Valley, everywhere, after it thawed, in the Thames Valley, everywhere got flooded, and it was just, our back garden was covered in thick mud
Oh, I see.
that stank,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the flies got on it. And when my father was out trying to sort out the garden, he got bitten, and everywhere he got bitten, he had a boil,
Oh dear.
and he was really quite ill.
Yeah.
He used to have to go for his dressings to be changed twice a day to the cottage hospital,
Yeah.
and they told him never go back into an office job because he'd migrated to the London office
Yeah.
of the firm as manager, and lost touch with the outside world really.
Yeah.
So as it happened, one of his brothers was getting married and moving to St Column,
Right.
so Archer Farm was vacant.
Ah,
So we dropped right in there.
that's right. And that was at Trewether. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
That was 1948. So, mother was Marjorie
yeah,
and father was Bob.
yeah.
Is
Robert
that Robert?
Broad.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, the Broad was a link back into a couple of generations. Miss Broad became Mrs May,
Yeah, I see.
and every
Yeah.
generation for I think it was, I don't know if it was 5 or 6 generations, there was a Thomas May.
So, what was it like moving back down here then?
Oh, like paradise.
Yeah.
Oh, we were so excited. I can remember the day we moved all the way down from Staines. My father kept saying, "If you look out that side of the car," he said, "you'll see that blue strip you're waiting for." All day.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
We
then
found it in the end.
found it then. So that was Archer Farm.
Archer Farm, yeah.
So father went into farming.
Yeah,
So your schooling then, you still would have had a few years schooling, would he? Down
Yeah.
Port Isaac School here?
yeah.
Yeah.
But the snag was I'd missed the main sit-in for the 11 plus,
Oh, I see.
and Derek Pooley, he was the only one that I sat the exam with.
Right.
And then I was told on the quiet I won't say who by because it's best not to.
No.
Told me that I wouldn't get a pass anyway.
Right.
I said, why not? He said, you can do the work. But he said, there are other aspects.
Right.
And he said, in a place like this, if you're a farmer's daughter, you'll either marry a farmer
Oh my God.
or you'll stay an old maid.
Get away.
Not the career that schooling is geared at.
No.
So I didn't get a place.
No.
So I stayed here till I was 15.
Yeah.
And I was doing the same work down here at 15 as I'd already done when I was 8 years old,
Yeah.
9 years old.
Yeah.
And that was a convent.
How many classes was there down the school year then? Can you remember?
Infants was where the restaurant is now. The bar and the bit back towards the front
Yeah.
of the building. Anything above 11 plus age.
I see.
We were in different groups,
Yeah.
but we were all in that one class until we were 15.
Yeah, I see.
And I found the work so easy.
I can imagine, yeah.
But, having done it all before. The school I went to before we came down here was a marvellous school.
Yeah.
Wonderful school. Life was quite a shock, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I spoke with a London accent.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can imagine, can't you? And they weren't mixed classes away.
Right. Oh, I
This
see.
was.
This was, yeah. Who was your schoolmates back then?
Well, I sat next to Pearl Honey.
Yeah.
I sat in front of Veronica Keat and Diane Mitchell.
Right.
Before your time, I expect.
Yeah.
Who was in front? Well, Brian Blake,
Oh dear.
Blakey,
Yeah.
and then Michael Collins in front.
Oh yeah. Of course, yeah.
He was right in front of the stove.
So was there a playground there then, or?
Oh, we had the playground,
Yeah.
a miserable little cobbled area
Right.
where the skidder is. Do you remember?
Oh yes, I know. Yeah.
That was our playground,
Oh,
the
was it?
girls.
Yeah.
The boys had all the rest out around.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And did you stay there for dinner? Or? Yeah. you
Yeah.
did.
Nicest dinners were Mrs. Cooch and
Oh yeah.
Betty Steer.
Yeah.
Used to get nice stew, they made nice pasties.
Did they really?
They used to make their own pasties for us all.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, proper puddings as well.
Yeah.
All homemade.
Did you walk in from Trewetha every day, did you?
Yeah. Timed. Quarter of an hour we were
Oh,
allowed.
was he? Yeah. And then what happened when you left school then? Did you go, what job? Did you go right into work then, or what did he?
I worked at home, indoors and out,
Yeah.
always milking,
Yeah.
and we took visitors during the summer. Father allotted us, this is Rob and me,
Yeah.
allotted us 3 cows each
All right.
to take care of. Hand milking, there was no electric, so that was twice a day before we went to school and after we came back. So we had to hurry up home from school because it was past milking time every day, and then winter time we kept them in at night. So at 9 o'clock we'd go out. There was no water laid on, so we had to carry water. Of course, no light. So that's 2 3-gallon buckets
Yeah.
on slippery,
Yeah.
icy ground in
Yeah.
the winter. And I slipped and I did something to my back,
Oh.
and that progressed into something chronic until I really couldn't do. I was registered disabled. I wasn't supposed to work at all.
Right.
But anyway, I carried on as well as I could. And by incident, so my father did the same. Injured his back. And in 1957, somebody, nobody here, but they were discussing, which came to nothing at all. Nobody here was willing to do the same operation that I needed,
I see.
because it was something new. I was 18 during this time, so I had my own voice.
Yes. Yeah.
And they said, what do you want to do? So I looked at my mother and she was looking not very happy with life. So I said, well, is it likely to be successful? And he said, well, I wouldn't be sending you up to London if I didn't think that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went up and had an interview with him. The specialist said, what do you make of it all? So I said, if you do a good job, I'll be all right. I said, if you make a mistake, I shall be paralysed. And I said, if you really slip up, I shan't know anything about it. He said, well, I wouldn't put it quite like that. But he said, he said, "You've got the idea." So he said, "Do you still want me to continue?" I said, "Well, I'm getting worse like I am."
Yeah.
So I said, "I got the chance to either be the same or to improve." And I said, "The rest is in the lap of the gods."
Yeah.
So he did it. He got one of the nurses to special me because he wanted to do the same for her and she was afraid. Over time it became very successful and has been ever since. I've had my children since.
Yeah.
Always aware, very aware. But I've lived, well, it's a normal life to me.
Yeah, exactly.
The cook therapy did work, and I said I did learn to cook.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed it. And that became my job in the house, whether milking or visitors or what. So with us as a family, then there was 13 to cook for every day. Then I said when all that finished, I gradually sort of got into cake stalls and things like that. And I said it just grew and grew. And when the fishermen's friends used to come to our harvest festival down in the church, latterly, I used to make a big pickled onion jar full of pickled shallots. And they used to bid for it. And I think £60 was the last price they paid.
Brilliant.
John Cleave was banned from eating them. Yeah, I used to have some laughs over my pickled onions. You know, things like that became, well, an institution. You know, I used to make them when they had their harvest festival in the classroom down in the cafe school. I used to make a Christmas cake. I think it was 60 quid was the highest that sold for. Oh, you know, size Christmas.
Fantastic.
Nice size, but and you know, it just sort of grew. I used to do 2 or 3 smaller cakes, much smaller cakes for Trelights chapels do.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, after a year or two, they come looking for them.
Yeah.
So you can't stop really when you know people are going to look for things.
No.
And there were several things like that. I became part of a world that I really didn't know. And that started when I was 13. The WI used to hold cooking competitions.
Yeah.
I had a funny fit one day and decided I would enter it.
Yeah.
Well, I had 3rd prize for me Victoria sponge. I was told that if I'd lowered me ridge of crimping, that would have won a prize too in the pasty making. But because I put the over the top, lost points. So I never forgot that.
No, exactly.
And you know, just odd little things, you know, like when they would revive in the church room, not the church room, the village hall, when Nick Knowles came and, well, just rejuvenated it. I had a shout from him one day, could he have 30 pasties, please? Well, yeah, right, Nick, yeah. What time would you like them? But, you know, just little things through life, you know, separate on its own, but it all sort of melts in together.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed my cooking time. You know, I even got the strength to roll out the pastry now to make, so I've had to knock that on the head. There's worse things than that, so I have me time, raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
I went up to collect my MBE. The chap that was handing back handbags and odds and sods that you carry with you, he said to me, how much money have you raised? I said, I haven't got the faintest idea. He said, that's why I asked you. And he said, nearly everybody but you, whenever these ceremonies crop up, know exactly to the penny how much they've made.
Yeah.
I said, well, I never thought about it.
No.
I said, I enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Whenever it is, whatever it's for.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed people enjoying what I did, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Another era ended, and no doubt another one will begin.
Yeah. So, what was wash day then?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Wash day, we had a outhouse.
Right.
Joined onto the kitchen, but totally separate.
I see.
And that was our only flush toilet in there. We had an old-fashioned boiler where it was built in. You had to light a fire underneath to boil the water. So all the whites were piled in when the water was cold, in with the soap powder. And that stayed there until it had boiled for at least 20 minutes. But make sure you leave the lid on, because if you make the fire up in the meantime, smuts come out, sit on your whitewashing, and they don't rinse off. Soot is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of it.
No.
So it all had to be done again.
Oh.
And keep the fire going. And then it got mangled. Because there was nothing electric about anything then.
No.
Not for us anyway.
No.
And old-fashioned mangle, which were very efficient. And then rinsing was in a tin bath. And then you have to ladle the water out, chuck it down the sink. And in those days, people used to like starched sheets.
Oh, right, yes.
No flannelette, none of that business, just
No.
plain cotton sheets, starched. And the pillowcases as well. Well, what a waste of effort that was, wasn't it? But it had to be done, so it was. And then hung out on the line to dry. Pick your weather. I learnt to pick me weather all right, because we used to have Mr. Frank Rowe used to come round and deliver newspapers.
Yeah.
And he used to see me at the sink right by the back door. And he'd say, hurry up with your washing, maid, because he said, weather's going to turn directly, but he said, if you hurry up, you'll get it dry.
Yeah.
So then I learned to observe the weather.
Yeah, exactly.
And I still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, little snippets from different people. It's surprising what you learn.
Yeah. Did Mother like the move down here then, or no? Your mother?
My mother
Yeah.
hated it with a passion.
Oh, did she?
And she made a vow she would never be a farmer's wife,
Right. Oh,
which she lived to.
did she? Yeah.
She was not a farmer's wife.
Oh.
But I learnt a lot,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed learning
Yeah.
because it was totally off my map. I mean, pig killing day was an education in itself.
Yeah.
But it all had to be done, and there were strict rules that you did it by,
Right. Yeah.
and everybody did the same.
Mm.
That was the way to do it.
Yeah.
And then the original Archer farm was just what's along the lane.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
All the rest was built on afterwards.
Okay. Yeah.
And what was the little sitting room for the original house became the dairy.
All right.
And that was slate floor, slate shelving all round the walls. They didn't completely dismantle, well, they didn't dismantle the chimney at all.
No.
But what they did do was built up from the sides of the fireplace, what
Right.
was, made a huge perforated zinc meat safe,
Right.
and it was huge.
Yeah.
But you had all the air coming from the chimney, and the window was a little window on the lane, but that was not glass. That was perforated zinc as well.
Oh, I
So
see.
there was always
Yeah.
air,
Yeah.
and we had meat hooks in the ceiling,
Right.
and my father used to send the hams away to be smoked. But then they were hooked up onto these hooks, and if you wanted a slice of what they used to call bacon, which was fat really,
Yeah.
it was just frizzled out until it was brown and crisp
Yeah.
and tasted lovely. That was the bacon bit
Yeah.
that they used to talk about. We had no fridge, not at that time,
No.
and we used to make our own cream. They had a separator. My father used to listen to him many times. It went ting. Everyone was a circuit, and he'd shout whether we were going too fast or not fast enough. And then the pigs were fed what is now skim milk. It was lawful then to caponise chicken, so we used to get a big breed, that grew into big birds, and fatten them up. And we used to have some boiled ham, boil it during the day, and roast chicken every Friday night for the visitors
Yeah.
before they went home. Yeah. Harvest time, that was a laugh and a half. Get up at 5:30 in the morning. The only thing that was made the day before was the ham was boiled.
Right.
Always boiled a whole ham. Then everything started. I used to make the pastry first, and then that could be idle for a while. And then do the veg and the meat. No turnip. Didn't have turnip in our pasties.
No.
Just skirt and onion, potatoes. Flaked up, not chopped. The times I got indoctrinated into that thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what flaking potatoes were.
No. No.
But then, how would I? Then I got taught how to pluck a chicken. 'Cause there's an art to that as well, otherwise the skin tears, doesn't it?
I don't know. I've never
Oh,
done it.
no.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go the same way as the feathers,
Right.
it tears.
Oh, I
But
see.
if you pluck it up out, they come out if you're
I
lucky.
see.
Because it was a bad mistake to have tears in the skin of a chicken.
Yeah. What was drenching them?
A Corona bottle or something that size.
Yeah.
Remember?
I
Was it
remember
2
them.
litres of that?
Yeah.
Full of some sort of mixture, which I never. I used to get presented to me in the bottle, ready to go. And we used to do it, both of us, because one was hopeless. Get behind the cow's head
Right.
and pull its horns back, because it was before dehorning was popular.
Yeah.
Pull them back so that they were like that, and get the bottle in the corner of their mouth.
All right.
Push it in to the neck, and just pour it and stroke the cow's throat to make it swallow, which it did. And if you were unlucky and standing in ahead of the cow and it got the cough, you had half a bottle of this
Oh.
gungy. No. So you got wise to that.
Yeah,
Kept out of the way of that. But it worked.
What was that? That was a sort of a medicine, was it, or something?
I think so, but I don't
Yeah.
really know what for.
Yeah, I get it.
So
Yeah.
we just did as we were told
Yeah.
and got on with it. But and I used to like my cows looking nice,
Yeah.
so I used to wash their tails, which was much nicer than being slapped across the face with a messy tail
Yeah, I can imagine.
when you're sitting there milking and can't do anything about it.
So where did you sell your milk to then?
Around the village.
Yeah. Did your Davidstow as well then, or no? Davidstow?
Yeah, we used to, any excess went
I
to
see.
Davidstow.
Yeah.
Because most farms on their boundary had a milk stand.
That's right. Yeah.
And we used to. But if the weather was thundery, the chances were the milk had gone off hardly before it
Oh.
reached the factory.
Yeah.
Then you get it back the next day.
Oh.
Not nice.
No.
Because they'd bring the milk back as well. They didn't dispose of it for us.
No, I see.
And
Oh.
that was a stinky little job. Yeah, but by and large it worked well.
Did you have kind of a milk round then, did he, to take your milk? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we had a milk round in the morning, and then, as I say, I used to do Trewether in the evening, which was very nice. I enjoyed, well, as I say, all aspects of it.
Yeah.
It was a learning
Yeah,
point
exactly.
for me,
Yeah.
and it was a learning point that I was interested in.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Janet. That was proper. And we got more with Janet again next week. I thought for me Cornish word of the week, seeing that yesterday was Valentine's Day. Now, I know I'm a day behind now, but if you learn it, you got it all ready for next year. But I thought what I would do would be the Cornish for Happy Valentine's Day. Now, the one thing this does show, which I think I've said before, is that the Cornish is a bit like Yoda on Star Wars, where he says his words the wrong way round sometimes. And Cornish is like that. And I know I did see on one of the Cornish forums here a week or two ago, there was a developer who built a place here in Cornwall. And of course, he was trying to do the right thing. He named it in Cornish, but he had the words the wrong way round. And I think this illustrates it as well. By saying Happy Valentine's Day, 'tis Daith Valentine Lowen. Daith Valentine Lowen. Which, if you translate it, is Day Valentine Happy. But 'tis, that's the way it is. The Welsh is obviously very close to Cornish, and that's the same. But I thought that's me Cornish word for the week. Well, word, little phrase. Daith Valentine Lowen. Happy Valentine's Day. As for me Cornish dialect of the week, I actually got this one from a lovely book that Eric Tatlow had written, Dearvan. Used to know Eric very well, and he did a lovely book on dialect. And I come across this one that I'd never heard before. And it's like, if you've got an opportunity to do something, you got to take it. Because if you don't take that opportunity, then somebody else will. And he said, 'tis like a shovel handle in the edge. If you don't cut 'em, somebody else will. Now, of course, in this day and age, you go to your hardware shop or your builder's merchants and you buy your shovel, handle and everything. But of course, back in Cornwall years ago, if you broke your handle, if you was going along the edge and you saw a lovely bit of wood there, you cut 'em down and you'd make that into your shovel handle. So that's where it comes from. But I think there's a class saying, and I'll say it again. 'Tis like a shovel handle in the hedge. If you don't cut 'em, somebody else will. So there we go. Right, well, I'm going to leave you now. And I hope you have a good week. Wish you well, and I'll speak to you again next week. Do Gannis, Kernobus Ficken.